Miscreant burns down an abandoned house at Naurim, Laikai. So far later, scuffles broke out between police and locals. Chief Minister Nongthom Bambiren instructed DCs to intensify vaccination to raise more awareness and penalize SOP violators stringently. 24-hour statewide total shutdown called by Justice for Sanaton Thokpam cripples normal life in various parts of Manipur. Manipur reports a single-day spike of 175 new COVID-19 cases out of 1,845 test results. 3 deaths in 24 hours, raising state's death tally to 393. And India report above 3,23,000 new COVID-19 cases and 2,771 deaths in 24 hours. Recovery rate drops to 82.54%. Hello and welcome to Impact News. You're watching Primetime English Bulletin and I'm KANEL SHAMBANDURAM with you. To stay protected from coronavirus, wash your hands frequently, wear your masks properly and maintain a safe distance from one another. Please remember that the fight against the coronavirus is not over yet. Now, the news in details. Miscreants burned down an abandoned house at Naurim, Laikai, Sofa Lerag on the Singjumai police station around 2 p.m. today. Impact News sources said locals nabbed a woman accusing her of setting the fire. Clash broke out between police and locals who nabbed the accused. Police resorted to firing of tear gas cells to disperse the enraged mob. Police has arrested 10 people who were involved in escalating the situation. Thamthing DIG Range 1, the Executive Magistrate SP Imphal West and the police personnel officials of Imphal West District took stock of the situation. Chief Minister Nongthom Bambiren has instructed DCs to intensify vaccination to raise more awareness and penalize SOP violators stringently. The Chief Minister gave the instruction during a video conference held with DCs of different districts on COVID-19 situation today in the wake of recent spike in coronavirus cases in the state. The Chief Minister inquired the DCs about the number of active cases, home isolation patients, vaccinations, preparations going on for reactivations of COVID care center, etc. He instructed them to be prepared for the possible situation coming in the next 2 months. The Chief Minister also asked them to submit detailed report on their activities, preparations and inadequacies to the Principal Secretary, held with a copy to the Chief Minister's office, cautioning that everybody should be very careful now as the new strand of COVID-19 is stated to be airborne. The Chief Minister asked the DCs to properly check whether the home isolation patients are kept isolated from the other family members. The Chief Minister is also instructed to bring the home isolation patients to COVID care center if the officials visiting them are not convenient that the family has required amenities like separate toilets and rooms for home isolation. Nongthom Bambiren also directed them to expedite the formations of the COVID Awareness Enforcement Committee of different assembly constituencies and do the needful to reactivate COVID care center at the earliest. He also stressed on the need to cross-check COVID negative report for those entering the state from different entry points. 24-hour statewide total shutdown called by Justice for Sanatona Thokpam since 6 p.m. yesterday crippled normal life in various parts of the state today. Business hub and most shops except medical stores in the state are closed. Vehicular movement is strictly restricted except for few vehicles plying on emergencies and essential services. Band supporters and at various areas carried out protest on road demanding justice for Sanatona Thokpam. Speaking to media, protesters demanded justice and condemned the post-mortem report has not been made public even after a month. Protesters asked why police and other relevant authorities have not taken necessary measures to solve the suspicious death of Sanatona Thokpam, who was a 5th semester MBBS student of Regional Institute of Medical Sciences.
Akoina says that mayam nang asi tilliba phambiba se akoigi sanaton haiba angang se mihathina hatpiba aduga police na su akoina tanba dhabi imhong asi bo pidaba haidi FIR pan bidaba adai postmortem report pidaba karigumma ta tawdaba ngasi bawba thama makhai akoina sangsalaiba khongjang sida kanagumma amtana karino akoina pamiba dhabi taliba singse amta pibidaba na akoi leptri ngasi dhabi singje phangdri hawba akoi masi leptra dum akoi khongjang ji jangsan gani.
All duty-bound working journalist union AZWJU has withdrawn its ceased work strike following an agreement. The ceased work strike was called against the physical assault of AZWJU General Secretary cum ISTV duty-bound correspondent as Hiroshima on the 25th of March around 3 p.m. allegedly by one commando personnel attached to duty-bound district police. Duty-bound district DC, SP and representative of AMJU and AJWJU reached an agreement at the Juribam DC office last evening. Press release from the union warns of continuing their agitation if the accused commando personnel is not booked within 15 days as agreed upon. Meanwhile, the press release from the Manipur Students Federation MSF has also condemned the attack on Hiroshima. International Peace and Social Advancement IPSA today observed a dark day in memory of the day when Manipur lost its independence to the British Empire after the Anglo-Manipuri War of 1891. The day was observed at IPSA office in the Kashampad with the participation of leaders and representatives of a Justice Committee on Anglo-Manipuri War 1891, martyrs and freedom fighters of the Kanglei Park, Manipur and civil society organizations. Attendee paid floral tributes to freedom fighters of the state at the event. IPSA Thawal branch also observed the 23rd dark day, remembering the day when Manipur lost its sovereignty. Inhabitants of remote hilly village are still unaware about the center's efforts to eradicate hepatitis in the center by 2030. Speaking to Impact News at the Nampao village in Chandal district, President of the Kuki Students Organization, the Kengzoi block, Kakai Haukib said name of the disease itself is a foreign term for the villagers and they are unaware about hepatitis and its variants. He maintained that villagers are ignorant about the free test for hepatitis B and C and free treatment of hepatitis C being provided under the National Viral Hepatitis Control Program at various district hospitals. Kakai Haukib appealed to the government to raise awareness on the same to the villagers residing along the Indo-Myanmar border to make the national program successful.
Hepatitis tampak especially in valley area. As well the hepatitis muy area sukra lebih le. Also chemistry didn't say khara backward su oiwa aduga Burma da su khara na ba international board ama oibanina hepatitis hai base rino hai base moi su phana khang tabanina sigumba program ama awareness tab ama semraga khunmayam ama pun trasu khun khuding da localized toraga mama phamda asigumba awareness program che government na rathok na ngai ekhoina pamjaban testing facilities asidagi chatte corona traga kunu laubag saruk da asara testing facilities mama thambiyo
Gamfazold village, a remote village in Chandal district, is still deprived of basic amenities. The village, with road connectivity, lack provisions of education, health, water and electricity. Speaking to media, Gamfazold village chief Mang Zan Gamd Haukip said they have been facing water scarcity since 1963 when the village was first established. He said there is no electricity in the village and the last time the villagers experienced electric lights was for a month during Christmas 2 years ago. He also appealed to set up a primary health center or a sub-center in the village as they have to travel far in times of medical emergency. The village chief also urged the government to upgrade the existing primary schools so that the village students do not have to travel far from home for higher studies. Mang Zangam Haukip expressed suspicion over the durability of the recently blacked top road from the Sonjang to Gamfazold as quality was not maintained.
Asabalam oibunina masida paidi dolkal oibuni isinga meini education ne aruga medical nasi oibuni masi marakta amata su success oibuni ising sisu matak dadi ising room lebuni pusimbagi department na hoyu phawbasida water supply gi se khara mapu phabang electric gi matangda chahi ani sure se wire tinglaga thama chap chan ngale sembal de Christmas tu en ngale dubo health matangda anaba kayam le basu hojik se doctor lete nurse paw lete.
Salai Women Depositors Group has submitted a memorandum to Chief Minister Nongthom Birane to either take hold of all the property of Salai Holdings Private Limited and return the money of depositors or make Salai resume its normal activities like before, acknowledging the plights facing the depositors. Manipur reported 175 new confirmed cases of the COVID-19 out of 1,845 test results received today. Infected persons are 172 from the general population and 3 are personnel of Central Armed Police Force. Newly infected persons from the general population are 84 from Imphal West, 29 from Imphal East, 26 from the Vishnupur, 9 from Kapching, 8 from Senapati, 7 from the Churachandpur, 3 each from Thaubal and Kangpokpi, 2 from Chandal and 1 from the Technopol district. All necessary medical precautionary measures like containment and contact tracing are in place. As per State Health Department and COVID-19 Command Control Room, the press release at 5 p.m. today, commutative to COVID confirmed cases in Manipur are 30,742, out of which 1,032 are active cases. 3 COVID patients died in the past 24 hours, rising the death toll to 393. The deceased persons are 75-year-old women from the Imphal East district, a 64-year-old woman and 42-year-old men from Imphal West district. On the positive note, 50 people were discharged in the past 24 hours, rising the total recovered cases to 29,267. State's recovery rate stands at 95.36%. So far, 139,457 have been administered COVID-19 vaccine in Manipur. In wake of surging COVID-19 cases in the state, Vishnupur District DC has directed markets in the district to shut by 3 p.m. until the 31st of May. A team of Imphal police station today arrested 26 people for violating COVID-19 related SOPs like wearing of face masks. The team arrested them during a special drive carried out to nab violators of COVID-19 SOPs in areas under the jurisdiction of the police station. The arrested violators were produced before the executive magistrate for further action. Issuance of the admit card for Council of Higher Secondary Education Manipur's Class 11th and the Higher Secondary Examination 2021 has been extended till 10th of May. Press release from the COSEM informed all the principals of relevant institutions and the private candidate to collect the same from the Controller of Examination, the COSEM, on all working days. Well, now it's time for a small commercial break. After the break, we bring you updates on coronavirus cases in India and the world. We will be back with details after the break. Until then, keep watching Impact News.
Office of the Yaifre Group of Finance, Head Office Singmairong near Eastern Motor, Imphal East, Meg Tara mga English Singani Mathoi, Tha Amada Lupa Lising Marika Khulaga, Hauzagadoriba, Lottery cum tender Siaw Biraga, Lupa Lak Kungi Mapu Oibiu, Lucky Draw Fauragana, Lupa Lak Amafang Bigani, Loinana, Atuba Matamda, Ezen Yang Supamzay, Ezen Singidamak monthly income, draw timing na Nulgipung Anini.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching Primetime English Bulletin. India's daily spike of COVID-19 cases remain above a 3 lakh for the past 6 consecutive days. Country reported 3,23,144 new COVID-19 cases in the past 24 hours. India's COVID-19 tally stands at 1,76,36,307. As per the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, there are 28,82,204 active cases in India, and death toll stands at 1,97,894 with the additions of 2,771 new COVID deaths. On the positive note, 2,51,827 recoveries were reported in the past 24 hours, rising the total recovered cases to 1,45,56,209. India's recovery rate has further declined to 82.54%. Maharashtra has the highest active cases of coronavirus of above 6,76,000. Globally, coronavirus is infected above the 14,86,06,000 people. Above 31,36,600 people have died, and recoveries are above 12,64,03,000. United States of America ranked highest with over 68,12,000 active cases, followed by India and Brazil. As India battles pandemic's second wave, United Kingdom has sent ventilators and oxygen concentrators, while Australia has suspended direct passenger flights to India. The first shipment of the COVID medical supplies from Britain to India includes 100 ventilators and 95 oxygen concentrators arrived early Tuesday. Many countries, including the United Kingdom, Germany and United States, have the pledge to send urgent medical aid. India's new coronavirus cases have stayed above 3 lakh for 6 consecutive days on Tuesday. India is expecting to receive the first batch of Russia's Sputnik V vaccine against COVID-19 on the 1st of May. Meanwhile, Oxygen Express is bringing medical oxygen from Jharkhand's Bokaro of Madhya Pradesh. UN-led global immunization strategy was unveiled yesterday to reach more than 50 million children who have missed life-saving jabs against measles and other diseases because of COVID-19 disruption. World Health Organization, along with UNICEF and the Vaccine Alliance Gavi, said their new global strategy has the potential to save 50 million lives within less than a decade. World Health Organization Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus said to avoid multiple outbreaks of life-threatening diseases like measles, yellow fever and others, it must be ensured that routine vaccination services are protected in every country in the world. A World Health Organization survey showed more than 1/3 of countries were still seeing disruption to their routine immunization services. The joint statement said around 60 mass vaccination campaigns were currently postponed in 50 countries, putting 228 million people, mostly children, at risk of diseases such as measles and polio. Joint Action Committee against the alleged life attempt of Mohammad Razauruddin and Aslam Khan of Urup Kuno, Imphal East District, has demanded arrest of the accused 4 personnel of 16th Assam Rifles. Speaking to media at Urup Kuno today, alleged victim Mohammad Razauruddin said he, along with his nephew Aslam Khan and his son, went out to a local shop to buy tobacco just when 4 people came in a car and threatened them at gunpoint on April 25 around 10 p.m. He added that locals nabbed and thrashed 3 of them and took them to Irilbung police station for investigation, where they identified themselves as personnel of the Assam Rifles. Joint Action Committee convener Sir Saha condemned that no FIR has been lodged at Irilbung police station till date. He demanded the authorities concerned to book the culprits and assured of the necessary help from the locals.
Nundang pung mapan makai mukta bagi soida kuasa sen thok posida khangho dana gari ema somda thaure khara thaururaga hallaga amaka thauraga tung lekhalaga mangda gari si khamaga aingon direct sap jingaga nomai namakpani adain hairiba mi hana kumu pojena konsilaga maga movement taunaraga moigi nomai maton chaina dak ena khuchina aina pairaga ngak thoinga aduga aigi sida kokta Sure, asi karina suri mai hai bading amdre adu aigi wakhandadi nongmaina surakwa male na edum khali aigi khotagi nongmai chinan thokre aduga aigi khutta nongmaina kanthale aduga aigi khosite kari maram gi damak aibu somena life attempt tobi bano aidi khangde ta sen mai ga thina basu kanam to sulaijade
ai ba me ohum dui manung da koina khang ming khangau bada assistant assam rifle ni ai amadi major nikhil ko hai me amana muslim chani manipur gi ma ki mingna rahmal ko na hai ru amana maite ma chani ma thoban dai ni hera me dum ming di mayam charang na ora chaptaba khangudre hai ba myo sing gi chaptaba detail ngasi ba police ta lai tri ba kari maram gi tawri bna marandu khatang pbi ona tra insist tawri ba mi dun tang pbi wa ngasi ba pbi da lai ba se tungda khul lai kai chita hai ba urup ne kai ne kyang bai ne hai ba jaga sida hai ba sida phami ba ye sigi myo sing amjung ra jaw hai sing tungda tholak pa pha phata dai ta khuding mak si hai ba sam system assam rifle with irum police station dai ta program ne
Moirang Assembly Constituency Rationing Agent Welfare Association has claimed that due to an error by National Information Center (NIC), lesser quota of rice has been sanctioned for NAPSA beneficiaries of Moirang Assembly Constituency. Press release from the association appealed to the relevant authorities to look into the matter at the earliest. NCC Northeast Region NER is striving for inclusion of NCC as an elective subject in educational institutions of the Northeast states. Additional Director General NER Major General Ananta Bhoyan has assured of necessary help for the same. It may be mentioned that the initiative is being taken under NCC Border Area Expansion Plan, and even the UGC on April 15th notified Vice Chancellor of all the universities across the country to include NCC as a General Elective Credit Course GECC. Kanglei Park Students Association will launch a drive to curb the import and sale of tobacco products in the state. Speaking to media at KSA office in Kuyatong, Pukriya Chowba today, KSA HRD Secretary Roman Soibamcha said ban on spitting in the public places was imposed in the state since last year under the Disaster Management Act 2005 to prevent transmission of coronavirus. He said KSA is carrying out the drive under the Manipur Epidemic Diseases Amended Regulation 2020. Soibamcha also informed that some shopkeepers were found reabeling expired date on the packaged food product and warrant of actions against the miscreants.
COVID lai chada sibu santok padasu mateng pangi hariba kwa mana nisagi problem sing tobacco producing asi matakta koi kangli pai sene sesana drive sa jaba hauragani adaga hojo hojo leriba yamna kininga orba second wave ki lai chada sida Manipur dasu positive oibagi jang asi wangklagli marang makada koi mi mangale ge deba asi laibak thibani adu makhata na hariba lai chada santok tan bhana bada kangli cha khudimangna mikup na hom singa chakhin lesi aduga hojo hojo imphal market ta nongmagi sang drabaya da problem sing asi gi mamal su nongdele te apang wangklagli aduga lengang lepiba position gi mamal asi su ha halerm liba market ta pangli position gi mamal asi dagi hengal pagi mami sangwatai aduga paba krawala singna hariba processing asi makoina yamna laisalaga mokhogi stock thamdalakanda market marang kaina phangandaba sisu laibak thibani marmadon hariba karbawala sing aduga distributor sing na hariba kogi wholesale togirba khaikoni mangna nomagi sangdraba yadab essential items sing asi laibak miyamda marang kaina phanganbinaba kanglepa isuri sasingi market gi appeal tawjarli aduga matam helaba chana thana problem sing nongna level tongna yoliba sisu khurkal lepkadabni hariba hadraba chanabi sing asi gi mayokta kanglepa isuri association na daipasa jaba horoga.
Now the news from the world of sports. India will host the 7th ICC Men's T20 World Cup under the aegis of International Cricket Council. BCCI will organize the tournament at 9 Cricket Stadium from 18th of October to 15th of November this year. It may be mentioned that the World Cup, to which was planned to be hosted by Australia last year, was postponed owing to COVID-19 pandemic. Host India, Pakistan, Australia, England, South Africa, New Zealand, West Indies and Afghanistan, the team have already occupied their spots in the Super 12 of the World Cup. Netherlands, Papua New Guinea, Ireland, Namibia, Scotland, Oman, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka will go through first round of the qualifying match from October 18th to 23, and the top 4 teams will fill the spot of the remaining Super 12. Super 12 matches of the World Cup will be held from the 24th of October till the 8th of November, following which first and second semi-finals will be held on November 11th and 12th respectively. The final match is scheduled to be held on the 15th of November 2021. First state-level T.H. Halland Devi Cash Prize Junior Boys Kabaddi Tournament has been postponed owing to COVID-19 pandemic. Press release from the Chirai Union Club Mayang Imphal informed that it was suspended to host the tournament under the aegis of the Manipur State Kabaddi Association from April 29 to 30. However, it has been postponed as per government's guidelines. Second League of AFC Champions League Group E match between the football club Goa and Al Rayyan Football Club has ended in 1-1 draw at the Fatodra Stadium. Goa is hosting the league under the aegis of Asian Football Confederation. For Football Club Goa, George Ortiz Mendoza netted 1 goal at 3rd minute, and for Al Rayyan Football Club, Ali Faryodun scored 1 goal at 89th minute of the match. Now Football Club Goa will play against UAE's team Al Wada at the Fatodra Stadium on the 29th of April at 10 p.m. Well, that's all we have in this bulletin, but before we wind up, let's take a glimpse at the headlines once again. Miscreant burned down an abandoned house at Kagwan Narim Laikai. Sofa Lairak, scuffles broke out between police and locals. Chief Minister Nongthom Bireen instructs DCs to intensify vaccination to raise more awareness and penalize SOP violators stringently. "24-hour statewide total shutdown called by Justice for Sanatona Thokpam that cripples normal life in various parts of Manipur." Manipur reports a single-day spike of 175 new COVID-19 cases out of 1,845 test results. 3 deaths in 24 hours, rise state's death toll to 393. And India reports above 3,23,000 new COVID-19 cases and 2,771 deaths in 24 hours. Recovery rate drops to 82.54%. Thank you so much for being with us. Coming up next is prime-timed Manipuri Bulletin. In the meantime, for more news and information, please do not hesitate to follow Impact TV on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. Until then, have a great evening and always stay safe.
Sri